You're brushing your teeth. Normal Tuesday morning. You woke up, got out of bed, walked to the bathroom. Everything is fine. Everything is normal. You look up. There's a face in the mirror. It's your face. Your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your hair. Everything is exactly where it should be. But something is wrong. It doesn't feel like your face. It's like you're looking at a stranger who happens to look exactly like you. You blink. The reflection blinks. You touch your cheek. The reflection touches its cheek. But you can't shake this feeling. That's not you. And then a worse thought. If that's not you in the mirror, then who are you? You look down at your hands. They're moving. You're making them move. But they don't feel like your hands. They feel like someone else's hands that you're controlling. Like you're piloting a body that doesn't belong to you. You try to remember, did you always feel this disconnected? Or did something change? And the worst part? You're not sure you're real anymore. This isn't a philosophical thought experiment. This isn't existential anxiety. This is a real neurological and psychological condition. It has a name. Depersonalization. And if you've ever felt this way, even for a few seconds, you're not alone. You're not going crazy. And today, we're going to understand exactly what's happening in your brain when you stop feeling real. Let me start by telling you something that might surprise you. Between 50% to 75% of people will experience depersonalization at least once in their lifetime. Think about that. Half of everyone you know has felt at some point like they're not real. But we don't talk about it. Because how do you describe the feeling of not feeling real? How do you explain to someone that you're standing right here, conscious, aware, but you don't feel like you anymore? So let's start with the clinical definition. Depersonalization is a dissociative experience where you feel detached from yourself. You might feel like you're watching yourself from outside your body. You're a robot or in a dream. Your body doesn't belong to you. Your thoughts aren't your own. You're living behind a pane of glass. For most people, this lasts seconds or minutes. It's triggered by stress, exhaustion, trauma, drugs, or even just nothing. It comes, it passes, life goes on. But for some people, it doesn't pass. Depersonalization derealization disorder is when this feeling becomes chronic. Persistent. Constant. You wake up feeling unreal. You go through your day feeling unreal. You go to sleep, if you can sleep, feeling unreal. And the cruelest part? You know it doesn't make sense. You can see yourself in the mirror. You can feel your heartbeat. You can think clearly. Your rational mind knows, I am real, I exist. But your feeling brain disagrees. It's like being gaslit by your own consciousness. Now, there's a related condition called derealization. While depersonalization is feeling detached from yourself, derealization is feeling detached from the world. The world looks fake, artificial, like a movie set or a video game. Colors might seem muted, sounds might seem distant, people might seem like NPCs. And often, very often, these two happen together. You don't feel real. The world doesn't feel real. You're a ghost in a simulation. So, what does this actually feel like? Let me describe what people with chronic depersonalization report. And see if any of this sounds familiar. The mirror. You look at your reflection and think, that's me. I know that's me. But it feels like looking at a photograph of someone you used to know. Recognition without connection. The hands. You're doing something, typing, eating, driving, and you look down at your hands moving. And for a second you think, who is moving those hands? Like you're watching someone else's hands from behind their eyes. The voice. You speak, you hear your voice. But it sounds wrong, distant, like it's coming from someone else. Like you're dubbing over someone else's movie. The glass wall. Everything around you, people, places, objects, feels like it's behind glass. You can see it, you can interact with it, but you can't connect to it. There's a barrier between you and reality that you can't break through. The autopilot. You go through your day on autopilot. Talking, working, eating. But it's like you're not the one doing it. You're just watching it happen. A passenger in your own body. And here's what makes this truly disturbing. You remember what it felt like to feel real. You know, there was a time when you looked in the mirror and thought, yes, that's me. When you touched something and felt it, truly felt it. When you were present, connected, real. But now, you're not sure that person exists anymore. I want to pause here and say something important. If you're experiencing this right now, if you've felt this way for days, weeks, months,
I need you to know.
You are real. This will get better. You are not losing your mind. Depersonalization is not psychosis. It's not schizophrenia. It's not going crazy. In fact, the very fact that you're disturbed by feeling unreal proves you're still connected to reality. People with psychosis don't question their reality. You're questioning it because you're sane. Okay, deep breath. Now let's talk about what's actually happening in your brain. Your brain is not designed to make you feel unreal. But under certain conditions, that's exactly what it does. Let's break down the neuroscience. The prefrontal cortex, your executive control center. This is the part of your brain responsible for self-awareness, conscious thought, reality testing, integration of experience. In depersonalization, the prefrontal cortex is overactive. It's working too hard, thinking too much, analyzing too deeply. The limbic system, your emotional brain. This includes the amygdala, fear, emotion. The hippocampus, memory, context. The insula, body awareness, interoception. In depersonalization, the limbic system is underactive. Specifically, emotional processing is dampened. Here's what's happening. Your prefrontal cortex is observing your experience, but it's not receiving the normal emotional signals from your limbic system. So you see yourself in the mirror. You know it's you. But you don't feel the emotional recognition that normally accompanies that knowledge. Your brain interprets this mismatch as, something is wrong, this doesn't feel right, maybe I'm not real? It's like watching a movie of your own life instead of living it. There's also evidence of changes in the temporal parietal junction, the area that creates your sense of self and body ownership. And reduced activity in the anterior insula, which processes your internal body sensations. In other words, your brain's sense of self is glitching. Now here's where it gets interesting. Why does your brain do this? Why would evolution create a system that makes you feel unreal? The leading theory: depersonalization is a protective mechanism. When you experience overwhelming stress, trauma, or threat, your brain has a few options. Fight, freeze, flee! Dissociate. Dissociation is your brain's emergency shutdown. It disconnects your emotions from your experience to protect you from overwhelming feelings. In the moment of trauma, this is adaptive. It helps you survive. But sometimes, the shutdown doesn't turn back on. The protective mechanism becomes stuck in the on position. And you're left in this state, emotionally numb, disconnected from yourself. feeling unreal. Not because something is permanently broken, but because your brain is still trying to protect you from a threat that's no longer there. We've talked about depersonalization, feeling detached from yourself. Now let's talk about its twin, derealization. Imagine this. You're walking down a street you've walked 1,000 times. But today, something is off. The buildings look flat, two-dimensional, like cardboard cutouts. The people passing by seem wrong, like actors playing roles. Colors are muted or too bright, too saturated, artificial. Everything feels like a stage set or a video game or a dream you can't wake up from. This is derealization, where depersonalization affects your sense of self. Derealization affects your sense of reality. People describe it as living in a fishbowl, the world being covered in fog, everything being slightly off, life feeling like a movie. Objects seeming smaller or larger than they should be. And here's what's particularly disturbing. You know the world is real. Your rational mind understands this is a real street, these are real people, this is reality. But your perceptual experience doesn't match. It's like your brain's reality filter is malfunctioning. Often depersonalization and derealization happen together. You don't feel real. The world doesn't feel real. And you're trapped in this liminal space between existence and non-existence. Philosophers call this existential crisis. Psychologists call it dissociation. People living with it call it hell. But here's what you need to understand. This is not permanent. This is not who you are now. This is a state your brain is in. And states can change. If you're experiencing chronic depersonalization or derealization, I want you to know something. Recovery is possible. Not just managing symptoms. Not just learning to live with it. Full recovery. Let me tell you what actually helps. Grounding techniques. When you feel yourself dissociating, these can help. The 5-4-3-2-1 method. Name 5 things you can see. 4 things you can touch. 3 things you can hear. 2 things you can smell. 1 thing you can taste. This forces your brain to engage with sensory input, to reconnect to the present moment. Physical grounding. Hold ice cubes in your hands. Splash cold water on your face. Stomp your feet on the ground. Intense exercise. Physical sensation can cut through emotional numbness. Therapy. The most effective treatments. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. Challenges distorted thoughts. Reduces anxiety about dissociation. Teaches you that the feeling is temporary. Trauma-focused therapy. If your depersonalization started after trauma, EMDR, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. Somatic experiencing. Mindfulness-based approaches. Meditation can help, but be careful. Some people find it makes dissociation worse. Others find it helps them reconnect. Medication. There's no specific medication for depersonalization. But treating underlying conditions can help. Antidepressants for depression, anxiety. Anti-anxiety medications, short-term. Lamotrigine, shown promise in some studies. Lifestyle changes. These matter more than you think. Sleep deprivation makes dissociation worse. Reduce substances. Weed, alcohol can trigger it. Stress management, the root cause for many. Routine. Structure helps your brain feel grounded. What not to do. Don't constantly check if you're real. Don't stare in mirrors trying to feel yourself. Don't research symptoms obsessively. These behaviors reinforce the anxiety. They keep you stuck in the loop. The paradox is, the more you try to force yourself to feel real, the more unreal you'll feel. Instead, accept the feeling. Don't fight it. Say, okay, I feel unreal right now. That's okay. It will pass. And then do something. Anything. Cook, walk, talk to someone, create something. Action breaks the cycle. Look. I know this is scary. I know it feels like you'll never feel normal again. But here's the truth. Thousands of people have recovered from chronic depersonalization. The brain that learned to dissociate can learn to reconnect. It takes time. It takes patience. It takes help. But you will feel real again. You will recognize yourself in the mirror again. You will be present in your own life again. Because you are real. You always have been. Your brain just forgot to tell you. Here's what I want you to take away from this video. Depersonalization is not a sign that you're broken. It's not proof that you're not real. It's your brain's way of protecting you. A protection mechanism that got stuck in the on position. And just like it turned on, it can turn off. The next time you look in the mirror, and for just a moment, you don't recognize yourself. Remember, that is you. You are real. Your brain is just having trouble processing that right now. And that's okay. Because feelings pass. States change. And you are more real than you think.